If you have any money invested in the stock market right now, I bet that you're worried about Trump, the tariffs, the recession, inflation, market valuations. Are we in a bubble? What is this tech stuff going to do? I bet you there's a lot of things that you're worried about right now. So we're going to break it all down in this video crystal clearly of exactly how to capitalize on the market, what stocks to sell, what stocks to buy, and what option strategy to use to capitalize on what's going on in the stock market right now. So let's break it down. So Donald Trump is hands down one of the craziest presidents that we've ever seen for the stock market since pretty much the beginning of time. The volatility right now in the market is absolutely insane. And if you're like most investors right now, you probably have a bunch of gray hairs coming out of your head because it's like one day Trump is bearish, one day Trump is bullish, one day we have a trade deal, one day we don't have a trade deal, one day we made this big deal with China, and then 2 days later he tweets on X saying China's violating their trade agreement. So it's like, how do we process what Trump is actually doing on a day-to-day basis? What do we react to? What do we ignore? And how do we capitalize on this to make money? So let's break Trump down into two key categories of what he's working on right now, which is going to be tariffs and it's going to be the economy. So let's talk about tariffs first because it's going to build into the economy. So just a few weeks ago when Trump did the Liberation Day tariffs, the stock market pretty much went straight down because nobody was expecting the level of tariffs that he was actually going to put on these countries, including China, including Vietnam, including Japan. I mean, these are major countries that we do a lot of trade with, these countries we need in our economic system. But by putting these tariffs in place at such a high level, it's like we're pretty much cutting ourselves off from the world. So April 2nd was Liberation Day, and you could see April 2nd to the bottom, the stock market pretty much went down 13% from April 2nd to April 8th. So 6 days, the NASDAQ fell 13%. This is one of the sharpest declines that we've seen pretty much in the history of the entire stock market. But Trump quickly reversed his policy because he realized that he was actually breaking things out there in the economy. The bond market was freaking out, the stock market was freaking out, CEOs were freaking out. It was looking bad out there. So Trump did a 90-day pause on pretty much everybody except for China, but now we're doing active negotiations with China, and they're currently on a pause right now too. And honestly, the sentiment right now about that trade deal with China is that it's coming and it's looking pretty good. So you can see once Trump started to reverse his policy, the stock market pretty much went straight up, and it's up all the way over here at 29% off of that April 8th low. So now the question that everybody wants to know about right now is this. We don't really have any major trade deals done yet. We don't really have any major negotiations done yet. It's all just talk. It's all just hoping that we get these deals done. If we get the deals done, great. But if we don't get the deals done, what does that mean for the stock market? What does that mean if these countries start walking away from these trade deals because they see America as just unreasonable because they're asking for too much? This bounce that we had right here in the stock market, we could quickly see this reverse back down. So understand that we're pretty much at all-time highs right here. We're only down like 1% from all-time highs. But the market right now does not have any trade deals done. So again, if we don't get trade deals done, expect a lot of this to reverse. And the other key thing that we have to talk about right now is the implications of what Trump's tariffs actually already did on the US economy, because the damage might already be done. And as this damage is done, is it going to cause inflation for all these supply chains that got messed up? And what does that mean for the stock market and stock market valuations? Because things are a little bit stretched right now. So what I'm about to tell you is the whale in the room for the US economy, how it's actually doing right now, and what I expect it to do going forward. Because again, I'm just here to give you my perspective on what I see is happening right now in the economy, in the stock market, in the world, and we're just trying to figure out how to make money doing that. So what I see right now in the labor market and in the economy is I see a labor market that is strong right now, but I do see a labor market where the unemployment rate is slowly going up. So as this unemployment rate is going up, that's showing you that there's more people that are looking for work that can't find work. And at the same time, we have this tech and AI revolution that's happening right now where it's like companies like Meta and Google and Microsoft and Tesla, as people retire, as people get laid off, as people just get fired, those people that get laid off and that get fired, they're not backfilling those positions just yet. They're taking a wait and see approach. And yes, of course, there are some edge case scenarios where CEOs are blowing a bunch of money, like building out their AI data centers and stuff, which that is blowing up like crazy right now. But for the vast majority of CEOs, the confidence is down and they're not as optimistic to hire new employees because think about it. There's this new thing called AI agents that are coming out right now. And as these agents come out into the real world, it's basically just like an AI employee. You want to backfill these people that are quitting and getting fired with a human employee that needs PTO, they need vacation, they call out sick, they get cranky, they don't want to work? Or do you want to hire an agent that you could train and they could work 24/7 around the clock and it's going to be much cheaper. Most CEOs are going in the direction of that. So here's the issue, and here's how we bring this all back together for the economy. If people are getting laid off and people are quitting and they're getting backfilled with agents, what is going to happen for these people that are now looking for jobs? Because there's more people getting laid off, but there's less new job postings getting created. So when that happens, the unemployment rate is going to slowly tick up. And when the unemployment rate ticks up, people don't have jobs. And when people don't have jobs, they don't have money. And when they don't have money, they don't go blow money. So that is bad for the US economy because the United States economy is a consumer-based economy, meaning the vast majority of the economic output of America is us Americans just blowing money and consuming things. So when we don't have money to spend, the US economy is going to go down the tubes. So this is something I'm watching very, very closely right now. So far, nothing crazy is broke yet, but it can break very, very fast because there's very low liquidity in the labor market right now. There's a decent amount of people getting laid off, but there's also not that many jobs that are posted right now to get filled. So when they get laid off, they're looking for work for a longer period of time. The unemployment rate goes up. It could spiral down for the US economy. So that ties straight into the stock market because what happens if people don't have money? They don't blow it. So think about Apple, for example. This is a perfect example. If Apple has an iPhone that drops every September, are you going to be as willing to upgrade to that newest iPhone because maybe your spouse got laid off, or maybe you're not going to get that pay raise, or maybe you're just less optimistic about the labor market and maybe you're just going to lose your job? Are you going to be as willing to buy that new iPhone? The answer is probably no. So when you're not willing to buy that new iPhone, what does that do for Apple's revenue? The revenue is going to go down. When revenue goes down, earnings per share goes down. And the number one thing that moves the price of a stock in the long run, as you guys know, is earnings per share. So if earnings per share goes down, the stock is going to go down. And right now, the whale in the room is going to be market valuations. And as valuations are a little bit rich right now, this is kind of brewing into a perfect storm of if we do get a slowdown in the labor market, we do get more people being laid off, and we have people spending less money. It's a perfect storm for earnings per share to go down, not grow as much year over year. And when that happens at a time that the stock market is a little bit lofty, stocks will fall like a rock. And you saw how that panned out at the beginning of this year when Trump did his Liberation Day tariffs. The stock market went down roughly 30%, which was a pretty big fall. So this chart explains the potential trap that the stock market's in right now. And if you don't understand this chart, there's a very good chance that you're going to get totally wiped out. So let's take a look. And I know we talked about this chart on this channel before, but it just updated and there's some new things we have to talk about with regards to it. So the red line right here corresponds to the S&P 500, and the blue lines correspond to the PE ratio levels, the price earnings ratio levels that the S&P 500 would be trading at if it was on top of that blue line. And the reason why we care about the price earnings ratio so much is because it's one of the best single metrics to understand if a stock market is over or undervalued. And then we compare that to historical times to see what the stock market actually did based on a certain PE ratio level. So let's take a look here. So this goes all the way back to 1985, and I love going to this period right here of 1999. You can see the S&P was up here towards this upper blue line, which is a 25 forward PE ratio, and we all know what happened in the stock market following 1999. It went pretty much straight down. So the market went straight down at a time that the market valuation was a little bit rich. Look over here, market went down. Look over here, market did a little correct down, but then it went back up. So the question that you should be asking is this. We've only seen a PE ratio level this high, one time here and two times here, going all the way back to 1985. And what happened every single time that the PE ratio level got that high? Right now we're like 22-ish. Right here was about 21, and right here was about 24, 25. What happened every single time? The market went down here, the market went down here, and the market went down and it did this V-shaped recovery because this was when Trump did his tariffs and then we rebounded back up. But there's a good chance that this was just a fake out V-shaped recovery and the market's just going to go up and then trend back down because market valuations are very stretched right now. Now to reverse this, just to prove my point, look at what the market did when things were relatively cheap. Down here to 15 PE ratio, the market went straight up. Down here after the great financial crisis, the stock market was trading at roughly a 10 PE ratio. And look at this massive return that you had right here. Going back to the early 1990s for the next 10 years, the market totally ripped higher because we started at this low PE ratio of roughly 10. But as things got expensive, it corrected down. So the question that you should have right now is this. Based on everything that I just said, with Trump, with tariffs, with the economy, with the jobs market, and with market valuations, what do we do with our money right now? How do we capitalize on the market? Do we sell our stocks? Do we buy more stocks? Are we bullish long term? Are we bearish short term? What do we think right now? So let me just simplify it for you right here. I am short term bearish on the stock market. I think the next 1 to 2 years in the stock market is going to be very, very bumpy, and I'm not expecting massive returns going forward for the next 1 to 2 years. But as the market trades sideways or corrects down, I do expect earnings to catch back up. So when earnings of these companies catch up, the price earnings ratio level is not going to be so high. So don't be surprised if we see a red year for 2025, a red year for 2026, and then 2026 going forward, the market absolutely rips higher. So the key thing right now is this. Don't over leverage yourself right now. Maybe we get a 30% stock market drop from the level that we're at right now, but maybe we don't. But if we do, you have to be able to capitalize and you have to be able to survive through that market dip. Because if you're over leveraged and a 30% drop is going to wipe you out, you are not positioned correctly in the stock market right now. If we were trading in a time period where the market valuation was roughly like 10 for the PE ratio, I would say, sure, go leverage up because you're probably going to catch good upside going forward. But at this level up here, I'm not as confident to have a lot of leverage exposure going forward. Yes, I have millions of dollars long the market. I have VOO, Triple Q, Tesla, TSM, Meta, AMD, Nvidia. I have a bunch of individual companies that I'm long the market on, and I do have some sold puts on AMD, sold puts on TSM, sold puts on Nvidia, and I have some calls that I bought on Marvell, calls that I bought on JD. Those are just some of the trades that I have open right now. But the leverage exposure that I have is very, very low, and if the market were to fall 50%, I am still going to be okay. The question I have for you is this. Are you going to be okay if the market falls 50%? I'm not trying to sit here and say, oh, Brandon's this big bad bear. I am extremely bullish the stock market in the long run, meaning like 5 years plus. But in the next couple years, I do expect a lot of volatility and I do expect a lot of opportunity. That is the key thing here. Volatility is not risk. Volatility is opportunity. And if you know how to position yourself right now, where historically speaking, if we're in this game for say 40 years, if you look back 40 years and plot this on a timeline right now, it's probably going to make sense to do a little bit of de-risking right now. I'm not saying to sell your base portfolio shares. I am just saying don't have too much leverage option exposure where if we do get a lot of downside, you're going to get wiped out. Because trust me, if you're in this game long enough, if you're in this game for another 40 years, I could pretty much guarantee you that we will see a 40% stock market crash at least once in the next 40 years. Maybe it's going to be in 2025. Maybe it's going to be in 2040. To be completely honest with you, nobody on planet Earth knows exactly when that's going to be. And the guy that does predict when it's going to be, he's going to be a genius. But in all reality, he just got lucky. So don't get confused with that stuff. So to simplify, I'm very bullish in the long term. I'm cautiously optimistic in the short term. Don't over leverage yourself with options right now. If you want to learn my strategy of how I scaled to millions, how hundreds of other people just like you are scaling to millions, you could get my course and my Discord right now for free. Click link below. See you guys there.